So, Chicago has a huge, multi-billion-dollar question hanging over its head. You've got the Bears needing a new stadium, the White Sox wanting a new ballpark, and the governor basically demanding one big, comprehensive plan to sort it all out. Today, we're going to dig into a really ambitious vision that claims it has the answer. Let's break down exactly how it's all supposed to work. Okay, first, just look at this number. Let the scale of this sink in for a second. This isn't just about a stadium or two. We're talking about a staggering $11.1 billion vision. And a number that big, well, it immediately brings up the single most important question of all. And that's the real kicker, isn't it? Because if there is one thing that pretty much everyone agrees on, it's that taxpayers do not want to see a bill for any of this. For years, this whole thing has felt like an impossible puzzle. But this new proposal, well, it offers a pretty surprising answer. To really get the solution, first we have to appreciate just how tangled this whole mess is. I mean, this is not just one team asking for a handout. We're talking about a complete political and financial deadlock. It is truly a perfect storm. You've got the Bears pushing for their stadium. You've got the White Sox looking at their options. And hey, don't forget the Chicago Fire, who also need a permanent home. But Governor Pritzker, he's basically put his foot down and said, look, no more coming to me one by one for public money. He wants a single big picture plan. You add that to the fact that taxpayers are dead set against any new taxes for any of it, and yeah, you've got a total stalemate. So how do you break a logjam like that? Well, a group called PSC Chicago has put a vision out there that completely reframes the entire conversation. They're saying stop thinking about this as just a stadium bill. Instead, they want us to see it as a massive integrated infrastructure project for the entire region, and it's all powered by a totally new kind of financial engine. And this, right here, is the heart of the whole proposal. The creation of a brand new state super agency called the Great Lakes Development Authority, or GLDA for short. Its goal is actually simple, but it's incredibly powerful. Finance and build these huge projects by using money that's already flowing into the state, not by asking you and me for new taxes. Okay, so how do you build a financial beast like that? The proposal is to merge three existing and pretty powerful state authorities. You take the MPEA, that's the group that runs McCormick Place, you add the ISFA, which handles the current stadiums, but then you combine them with a real game changer, the secret sauce that makes this whole thing possible, the Illinois Tollway. And when you merge those three, wow. The result is an absolute financial powerhouse. We're talking about over $2 billion in existing revenue every single year. A single authority with that kind of reliable cash flow has the muscle to take on projects at a scale that, honestly, was just a fantasy before. You know, if you're trying to wrap your head around this idea, this quote just nails it. Think about the legendary Port Authority of New York and New Jersey. It's a self-funding public body that kind of acts like a business, right? It builds these massive, transformative projects using revenue from its own assets, tolls, rents, and fees. Same idea here. But look, this vision is about so much more than just clever financing. It's about using that newfound financial power to solve one of Chicago's oldest and most stubborn problems, using rail to finally connect a disconnected city for the benefit of absolutely everyone. And the key, the one thing that unlocks this entire vision, it isn't some futuristic new technology. No, it's a little-known 1-mile stretch of elevated railroad track on the south side that has literally been hiding in plain sight for over 100 years. It's called the St. Charles Air Line, and just by upgrading this one small piece of track, the entire regional vision becomes possible. I mean, imagine you live in a South Side neighborhood like Roseland. With this upgrade, you could potentially get a direct one-seat ride all the way to O'Hare Airport. Now, this isn't just about convenience. It's a direct attack on what economists call spatial mismatch. That's the structural barrier where the jobs are all concentrated way too far from where people actually live. And that's why this rail-centric vision is really designed to benefit the entire state. It's about better job access for city residents, more efficient commutes for people in the suburbs, and even improving reliability for downstate Amtrak riders. And what's really crucial here is that the whole structure is designed to potentially incorporate the proposed merger of the RTA, CTA, Metra, and PACE, creating one truly unified system for all of Illinois. So when you boil it all down, this presents a really, really clear choice for state leaders. On one hand, you've got a standalone stadium project way out in the suburbs.
And on the other, you have this city-centric, transit-focused Renaissance campus. Let's just see how those two stack up against each other.
Now, this comparison is so powerful because it uses Governor Pritzker's own criteria from his Rebuild Illinois infrastructure program. So when you measure these two ideas against the state's own goals for mobility, economic opportunity, and quality of life, well, the argument here is that the integrated, city-centric Renaissance campus is the hands-down winner. The vision is huge, and the potential benefits are massive. But let's bring it back down to earth for a minute and talk brass tacks. What is the actual price tag, and what are the hurdles to making this thing happen? A preliminary look at the numbers is pretty stark. The total cost is $11.1 billion. So far, about $2.3 billion has been identified, and that's mostly private money from the Bears. You can do the math. That leaves a massive $8.8 billion funding gap that has to be closed. An $8.8 billion gap is a truly staggering number. To put that into perspective, if you finance that amount with bonds, just the annual interest payment could be somewhere around $440 million. So the obvious question is, how on earth do you close a gap that big? And this is where the entire proposal comes full circle. That massive funding gap we were just talking about, this is exactly what that GLDA superagency was designed to conquer. So here's the crucial point. The GLDA, powered by that huge, reliable river of cash from the Illinois Tollway, has the financial muscle to make this happen. With over $2 billion in annual revenue as backing, it can leverage its assets to issue the bonds needed to cover that gap. And it can do it all without asking taxpayers for a single new dollar. Ultimately, the question might not be a financial one at all. This proposal makes a pretty strong case that the financial tool, the Great Lakes Development Authority, is viable. The real multi-billion-dollar question is about political will. Can the city, the state, and all the competing interests actually align to build something this ambitious, this generational? That's what everyone is waiting to find out. You know, Governor Pritzker has said he's looking for a North Star, a big, unifying plan for Illinois. This proposal argues that this is it. If you want to explore the full details of this transformational vision, you can visit the PSC Chicago website and listen to their in-depth audio series. Thanks for tuning in.